Did you catch this new release by Behaviour Interactive recently? The reveal of their new game, Meet Your Maker. This is pretty much a base raiding, base building survival game where you will be able to go ahead and craft these lairs, these structures with all sorts of traps and enemies inside to protect it from other players. It's a pretty unique take, and I feel like it's melding some of the best bits of PvP survival but adding it so that it's not going to be one of them games where you cry your eyes out and see your base raided every other day. So I'm going to go through the details and why I think this could be something really special. And especially for players that get that thrill of solving puzzles and raiding others, this should definitely be on your radar. Let's go, Meet Your Maker info. So yeah, it's made by Behaviour Interactive, the guys that make Dead by Daylight. I've got to say, I've never really played Dead by Daylight, it's not really my jam, but this is catching my interest after I got shown by some of my rat bags. I love a bit of PvP. I'd love to devote more of my channel to certain games like Rust or DayZ and pretty much anything where you can go up against other players. But you do have to invest a lot of time into them games, and it can overtake your channel and your gaming time, keeping your bases safe. So what if there was a game where you could build something, players could test it out to see if they could get inside, but you wouldn't lose thousands of hours of progress just because someone raided you with some giga dinosaurs or loads of C4. So let's clear a few things up. It's not going to be an atypical survival game. I don't think there's going to be any gathering of resources. It simply will start with you and a limited amount of resources to go ahead and build some sort of lair, some sort of fort. You're protecting this matter, and this is what in the post-apocalyptic world people are trying to get to. So you build it, and then there's a special little robot that will come along to test that you've actually built something players can actually break into, and then from there, that's when other players might be invited to go and do it. You'll basically upload it, a bit like Fortnite's creative modes. You'll upload it to a central server and players can come pick and choose and try out your levels, your designs. If they raid it, they get lots of XP or some of this matter, and eventually that leads to getting more unlocks, more traps, more unique build pieces for you to use. And that's the loop. You create something, players come and test it out, you go and test out other players' builds, try and defeat them, and eventually you're all earning more ways to unlock new build pieces and new stuff. You think to all the big games out there that have PvP survival, like Rust, like Ark Survival Evolved, how much the building is such a core aspect to keep your loot safe. Well, this sounds like the perfect idea. You now got a game that's focused on that, but doesn't require you having literally a whole week of building up to that point. No getting raided by a bunch of beach bums, bobs or anything else. No finding out you've just been shotgunned behind your back by some player. Instead, you get a chance to design something pretty epic and then see and test out your design. So you'll be able to go in first person, flying or walking around your structures and placing these large blocks on a massive grid system. At the centre of each outpost is that genetic material, or gen mat as Behaviour's calling it, and there's a harvester robot that will have a path to that, and you've got to make sure it works. You can't make something completely impenetrable. I imagine they might monetize this to hell with lots of decals and cosmetic skins or just colourful paints and stuff that you can do, but the core premise sounds pretty good. All sorts of traps, arrow traps, incinerators, caustic waste, bomb ejectors and more, and you'll be able to place mobs, guards and NPCs around to also help protect your base. There's a closed beta for it coming up soon. It's going to be under NDA, and the full release of this game isn't until 2023. But there are some other good points. It's also going to be available on Xbox One as well as Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 4 as well as PlayStation 5. But the initial playtest that they're going to have is going to be closed doors, and it's going to be on PC only. You'll record maybe patrol runs from your guards or your mobs. You'll place them in certain places and then actually have them follow a certain route or face a certain direction. And yeah, other players can come and try and get in. If they do manage to succeed, well, you'll be able to watch their runs and see what they did, how they achieved it, and then even go ahead and make your base even harder to defeat. In some ways, I do like the idea of it being more of a gather game, that you would actually go and gather the resources to craft some of this stuff, but I guess that would make it a bit too long and a bit too similar to just a bog standard survival game. So this way is more creative freedom, but also that challenge. It's meant to be shared, social elements to it, showing screenshots, fails, and you'll be able to rate different builds from other players, as well as share with your friends. They're also making it a 2-player co-op mode as well, so you'll be able to raid bases as 2 players. It does seem pretty tough though. Reportedly, if you get shot like once or hit once, that is it. You're going to have to restart. Help you defeat the mobs, you'll have a bunch of different weapons. So far at the moment, two first weapons are a harpoon gun with limited ammo, and then a melee weapon, as well as consumable grenades and grappling hook for extra manoeuvrability. Of course, they are going to have pretty much moderation to make sure people aren't building massive swastikas or anything like that. I guess there will be ways to report this as well. But yeah, I'm really intrigued by this. I always love the idea of raiding other players and being a bit toxic in PvP games, but I just never have enough time to devote to it, and then losing it all within just one raid offline is the worst feeling ever. So this has really got my interest. I'll leave the link to the website, you go and check out and sign up for it if you want, and I'll keep you guys up to date. Any more info about this game, I'm definitely going to put it on my docket as part of the rotating games I cover. So, until next time, Ratbags, I'll see you later.